Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nerd Chat, episode whatever. It's
I don't even know
so
what
many.
episode anymore.
Yeah,
And it's
we don't even
nerd
do episodes.
talk.
Nerd
It's
talk.
just straight nerd talk with a bunch of nerds. I'm Tracy Glenn. To the right of, over here is my daughter, Kenzie Days.
Hello.
That's why I am Tracy Glenn, Kenzie Days' dad. And below me, I have This Is Our Dream. Welcome in.
Hello. Thank you.
Our weekly contributors. And over here, hold on, I'll get there.
Yep, right there.
We have the amazing Russ Stapleton, who has a wealth of knowledge of Iron Man and Marvel. Sorry, I cut myself shaving, so I'm bleeding a little bit. You want to get into the chat so far?
Well, Mike Wheeler was first.
He's always first. He's
Always.
one of the. He makes me smile.
Piglet Rue or Piglet Trusky.
Yeah.
Piglet Trusky.
And Lady Jamers and Christine Hickman. That's what I'm seeing so far in the chat.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, guys.
Hi. So, before the movie we watched this weekend was Iron Man 3. And some of us had opinions about it, and some of us don't have the same opinions about it. Because it's been a very long time since those people watched the movie. And, but other than that, before we get into that, is it okay if I talk about this little thing here?
Go for it. And welcome in, Lady Gamers.
Hi. So, as many of you know, I have this lovely movie journal that I have started posting videos about on my YouTube. Well, I thought it would be cool to do a Marvel journal to go along with Nerd Talk. And obviously, I'm not caught up to where we are currently because I got this earlier this week. So I've done 3 movies so far. I'm trying to catch up to where we are as fast as I can, but I'll just show everyone really quick. So here's the first page for Iron Man.
You want to present her, Tracy? There. All right.
So there's the first page for Iron Man.
Nice.
Very nice.
And here are the other 2 pages for Iron Man.
What's that picture down there in the bottom
When he
left?
got hit with the shrapnel.
Okay.
That one?
Yeah.
Shrapnel.
And then for the other 2 movies, I've only done 2 pages. I didn't do 3. I'm not, if you know, I have a 3-page limit for each movie in my movie journal. I'm not doing that in this one because it's not as many in like there are in regular movies. I have a set amount of movies that are going to be going in here, and movies when we get to like Infinity War and Endgame have a lot going on. And I'm not doing my analysis on these movies and my review on these movies until I catch up to where we are now. So these pages only have 2. So this is Iron Man 2.
Nice.
It's hard doing 2 Iron Man movies next to each other because there's, the colors are always the same, the red and the yellow. So I had to put a little blue in there because I feel like this movie had a good one.
It kind of goes with Whiplash's whips there, so that works.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
then only Russ has seen this one so far. I did Thor.
Yep.
Ooh.
And first thing I asked her was, does Loki have his own page?
He does not. I have an order of colored washi tape coming in because I don't have much, because I don't really like this green polka dot, but it's the only green washi tape I have, so I had to make do.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I'm very happy with how this came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that this line is the only line that is somewhat decent in this movie because every other line is awful. Like I included all of like the base information, and normally I like to include soundtrack stuff and a bunch of quotes and some of the actors. So I'm going a little heavier on the actors. I got rid of the soundtrack part.
The soundtrack's not that great anyway. So
yeah, I took out the soundtrack part, and I only had 1 good quote from this movie. So there's more pictures than there are anything else. But I'm a sucker for decorating. So if anybody knows the way I journal, I do a lot of decorating.
Looks good.
So yeah, I wanted to show that. I'm gonna try and catch up. I won't be able to do any this week, but I'm gonna try and do a bunch over the weekend and catch up to where we are currently, and hopefully start doing those analysis and stuff.
Cool.
So I was super excited to show everybody that. And thank you guys for sitting through that. I think it'll be a fun addition to our nerd chat thing.
Yeah.
Nerd talk.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Stay safe, Mike Wheeler. He
Right.
said he's going to have to jump in and out because
Right.
there's storms coming in, but he doesn't think it's going to be anything serious. So.
Oh, great.
Thank you for finally unpresenting me.
Welcome in, Emily, LSU mom.
Hey, Emily.
So, thank you to Dean from the Live Place for hosting our, or at least putting our nerd chat on the Live Place.
Oh, is it?
Is it out there now? Awesome.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it's been on there for a couple weeks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for anybody who wants to find family-friendly streams, check out the Live Place. Live Place is you're going to find all family-friendly streams. Dean from the Live Place of Dreamers Empire or the Live Place YouTube channels. Check them out. Give him a like. Give him a subscription. Ring the bell for him. He's a great guy. And always check out the Live Place, and you're going to find the.
You're gonna find good stuff. I mean, all of us are on it, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he doesn't ask for any money. He doesn't ask for anything, but and he does a heck of a job for us all.
Yeah.
He goes
Welcome in, Charlie or Stacy from Disney Nerd Herders.
Yes.
I know a lot of people.
What?
People have been streaming all weekend, and I've been in and out all weekend. Owning a house is horrible.
It's Stacy. So, hey, Stacy.
Hi.
Hi, LSU. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
So
So-
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. It wasn't as bad as I remember. It's not great. I
Yes, it
wouldn't
was.
put it up. Huh?
I said, yes, it was.
What?
It was bad as I remember.
Oh, well.
I like it more than I used to.
Well, I have to say, I mean, realistically, I like it better than 2.
Yeah. I don't remember what happens in 2. We watched it a few weeks ago, and I don't remember a single thing from it.
Well, what's funny is that Iron Man 2 was the last stream that I hosted.
Yeah.
So,
that's
so
Yeah, I think it's going to work out for me to do the next Captain America movie too, because I did the first one. So I always get to do it.
Oh, that's funny.
I get Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. Probably one of the weakest, some of the weakest. Who had Thor? Because Thor and Thor 2 is not going to, or probably.
I think it was Kenzie, and I think she gets Thor 2 as well.
Oh,
Woohoo!
if only it was a good Thor movie. If only it was Ragnarok. That would be awesome.
Is Loki in Thor 2 as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's pretty much in most of them coming up. So
Yeah.
Okay.
and he's going to get his own series.
I'm so excited for the Loki series. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember a much worse movie. I think my main I don't really enjoy the pacing of it, and I don't enjoy the ending. Iron Man 3, the movie we're here to talk about.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I mean, I think the villain is cool. Not the Mandarin himself, but Killian. I think that is a cool villain. They could have done something totally different. I would have enjoyed the whole Killian on his own without that whole thing. That would have been fine. But I mean, this is just my initial opinion of it. It's not the best, but
It's not the worst either.
Russ
Like I said-
disagrees. Russ thinks it's the worst.
You think this is actually better than Thor 2?
Well,
or
so
worse than Thor 2?
Iron Man 3 is my least favorite of all of the Marvel movies. Dark World is not my favorite either. It's probably the next one, the next from the bottom. Just because I'm not as invested in it as Iron Man. So I just was very disappointed in the way that they treated the characters for Iron Man 3. Again, as a avid comic book lover, I was just mostly disappointed in this movie. So, yeah. So that's why.
Stacey, you're supposed to meet Thor and Loki at Comic-Con, but it got canceled.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. That's awful.
Oh, really?
I had a con canceled too, so I feel your pain, but I wasn't meeting anybody as cool as that.
The real Thor and Loki?
Well, yeah. They come in just for Comic-Con.
The real ones?
Sure. and Chris Evans actually made their pizza.
Rainbow Bridge.
And there's only one Comic-Con, right? That's the big one.
There's
a bunch of different things.
Oh, are there? Because I saw there was one in California maybe, but then they said you'll be able to do it from your home.
The biggest ones are in like LA and New York.
Okay.
So those are the biggest ones, but then they have different comic conventions all over the place. So,
Stacey, I'd do anything to meet Tom Hiddleston. Oh, I feel so bad. I know that pain.
Yeah, San Diego.
Oh my goodness.
San Diego is the biggest Comic-Con, followed by New York. That's
Do you need a tourniquet?
Those are the big.
Well, I was just gonna say Tracy's gonna be
trying to. I mean, this is bad. I don't understand it.
Pressure.
I'm actually. You know what, Ken's run this for a little bit. I'm gonna check on my nose a little bit more.
Okay, sounds good.
I wonder if he hit a little vessel or something.
I don't know.
So, that was my initial opinion on Thor 3. Not Thor 3. Iron Man 3. Sorry, I got thinking about Thor and Loki.
Thor 3 is totally different.
Yeah, Thor 3 is amazing. But yeah, I mean, what I know, Russ is never been a fan of this movie. And Jeff is just very anti Iron Man 3.
It's right up there with Artemis Fowl in my book.
Really? Wow. Yeah, Artemis Fowl. And what did you think about it as the person who had never seen it before?
Yeah, so I actually liked it better than Iron Man 2.
Agreed.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was I don't know. I didn't like the ending, like you said, Kenzie. I wasn't too wild about that.
Yeah, the ending is kind of dumb, but
yeah, it was a little bit easier for me to follow. Maybe I'm getting the hang of like watching.
You might be,
yeah, and picking up on things, and
who knows?
So yeah, you never know.
Let's see how well you remember Dark World. I don't remember a single thing from it.
Yeah.
I just remember it being bad.
Really? Now is that coming up next?
That's the next one.
The next one.
Oh geez. Maybe we could talk about that at the end.
But then it starts to go uphill. So then
it gets better, man.
Okay.
You need to start somewhere and work up.
So why do you think that is? Do you think it's because it's just kind of boring, or do you think they just continue to get better at producing these movies, or
I think that's part of it. I think too, they're still trying to introduce the characters.
Okay.
And and two, like Iron Man 3, it's the third movie, so all of the only real plot in this movie is him dealing with what happened in the Avengers, and his post-traumatic stress syndrome and kind of getting away from or healing from that a little bit, and become learning what's important after that happened.
Right.
Because that's the way that that Kevin Feige, the producer, for Marvel, kind of explains this movie is that it's a love story, which is kind of weird to think of because it's still an action movie, but it's a love story between Tony, Pepper, and the suits.
Yeah.
You know, so what is the most important to
Yeah,
Tony?
he had to make a decision. Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, of course, in the end, he picks Pepper, but that doesn't necessarily last as long. So,
Well, I was like, okay, he got rid of all that stuff, and
Yeah.
then he got that shrapnel taken out. Why didn't
Right.
he do that in the beginning? Like, why did it take so long to do that?
just for plot point.
Sure.
Because in the comics, he does it pretty soon.
Does
He gets it done pretty soon, and you know, so he doesn't go through like the palladium type poisoning and stuff like that. Now there's a storyline in the comics where he does get poisoned later on, you know, in a different series, but yeah, for the most part, he fixes himself pretty quick.
Okay.
And yeah, and then of course, you know, all of the stuff that happened to Pepper is all made up for this movie, so that never happens in the comics.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think this movie was better than Dark World, but I don't think it was better than Iron Man 2. I think
I prefer Iron Man 2 better.
I think there were some good scenes in the movie. I like the introduction of the kid. I like the banter between him and the kid.
Yeah.
I like the scene on the airplane when they blow a hole in and all the people are falling out of the airplane. I thought that scene was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you skip this movie, you wouldn't miss a whole heck of a lot.
Nothing.
I thought it was kind of weird how when all those people from the airplane, like, I think I'd be pretty darn traumatized. Like, half of them were, I mean, they were plummeting to their death. And then they all go in the water and they're like cheering, yay!
Yeah.
Like,
Of course, too. Most of those people on the plane were military, but still.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they weren't like commercial travelers.
No.
Okay.
No,
all right.
they were generals and military that were on Air Force One. So yeah.
So they were tough. They were tough.
Or the press.
Yeah, or the press. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with Jeff. I like Iron Man 2 better than Iron Man 3. Just because, again, it just strays so far away and it messes up the characters that I love.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, I wasn't a fan of the way Rhodey was in this movie.
Yeah,
I think Rhodey's more enjoyable later on.
right. Well, and again, this was the first Iron Man movie that Jon Favreau did not direct, you know, and so it has a different feel. And the Shane Black, the director for Iron Man 3, he wanted that on purpose, and he's got a different style. He's got a definite difference from Jon Favreau. Now Favreau helped him, as far as with characters and things like that, but it was Shane Black's movie, and so it did have a different feel. It had just different approach to the characters, and I don't necessarily think that he is as big of a Marvel fan as Favreau is, and so that makes a difference, and
I think it's important for long-time series for the people who to direct their movies be fans of those movies. I mean, it works for Marvel with Favreau, and I mean, I feel like future Star Wars movies should be directed by Star Wars fans and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, John.
So why didn't Jon Favreau direct this? They wanted something different.
Oh, I think.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I think he just took a producer spot, and I think he got. I'm not sure when this was out, but he had also directed. He directed live action Lion King. He also did another live action Disney movie. Huh?
Yeah. He actually, the reason he didn't direct this one was because he had another contract with Disney to make a movie that's not out yet called Magic Kingdom, and so they were working on that, and then they ended up not filming yet, so that movie's been put on hold. But it's about the Magic Kingdom. So,
Wow.
Yeah, he did Lion King. He did Jungle Book, Lion King, and he just assumed he got backed up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was just working on another project. So
Got it.
Do you guys think this movie would have been better if Jon Favreau had directed it?
I don't think Jon Favreau.
He directed Iron Man 2, and it didn't do anything super great there.
I think that the writing wasn't as good. You know, it does follow a storyline in the comics called Extremis, and they took a lot of it from that. They changed a lot, obviously, but that's kind of where it all comes from. The Shane Black wanted to basically make it an extension, or an extension of the second movie. He wanted to just continue that story, but the studio did not want to do that. They wanted something totally new and something totally different, and so that's where they kind of switched gears and changed the story. So I just don't think that the writing necessarily was the greatest, you know, as far as the story itself goes. I mean, like I say, they took a lot of things and then changed a lot of things. So
here's another big thing. Disney owns it now. Disney's in production of it now. Disney has their hands on the button for Iron Man 3. Because before that they had, they bought it or they acquired Marvel right around Avengers time. So while a lot of pre-production, Disney has a way of getting their own way because it's Disney, they're huge.
Right.
And I think the only problem, and believe me, I gotta say, I love Disney. There's no issue about that. And we're all family friendly, but sometimes, just like Disney had their hand in Solo, they made Solo too nice. Sometimes comic books and scoundrel movies need to be dirty. You understand what I'm saying?
They need to be darker, and because it sets that tone.
Hi, Carlos.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlos. Yeah, they have Disney has their formula.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Noah.
Is that Remy outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. We were watching Star Wars yesterday, and it was like Disney changed it. Well, did Disney take it over when they made them shoot after Greedo?
No, that's Lucas.
Oh,
that was Lucas. So.
Okay, I was just curious, but
Hey, Garrett.
But sometimes it's got to be gritty. Sometimes it's got to be dirty. And I think that's just the way Disney, like I said, Disney acquires it. Now, all of a sudden, they have to conform to the Disney guidelines.
Yeah.
So things are going to change for the movies from now on. Granted, I think they finally started learning to let some of those reins go. When you get to our Ice Cream Man,
do you hear it?
I'll be right back.
I'd be going too.
Hi, Monarch Moments.
Yes,
hey, Garrett.
Moments working with Garrett. So the way when you get to Thor 3, and it's that they let Taika Waititi come along and put his own spin on it. It fits a certain program, but they're letting some of these directors and some of these artists have a little bit of free reign, loosening those reins, because they know they're not going to make that much money if they keep putting out Disney style super movies or comic book movies. You got to have a gritty comic book in order for it to sell.
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier, I think after Thor: Dark World, it starts to go uphill from there. It gets better and better and better from there, and so we just have these two movies that we got to live through and.
Right through.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If someone was to say, "Go watch an Iron Man movie right now," it would be the first one.
Yeah.
If someone was to go say, "Watch a Marvel movie right now," none of the Iron Man movies would be my first pick. It would probably either be regular Avengers or Thor Ragnarok, because I just love those movies. But yeah, I mean, this isn't my first pick on any type of Marvel movie scale.
And you know, too, that this, like I say, the story, you know, we're dealing with what Tony is dealing with after Avengers. So, you know, you kind of need to have seen Avengers to kind of understand what's going on here.
Yep.
And so it's not necessarily its own standalone movie until later on when you start to meet, you know, when you meet Killian and you meet, you know, the bad guys to really kind of understand what's going on.
Because you're not going to understand what they're saying and when you just keep hearing New York.
Well, right. And you just, you know, you don't necessarily understand why Pepper and Tony are going through the things they're going through. And, you know, and so, yeah, it is a continuation story and those don't always do well, you know, so.
Yeah.
As a sequel or whatever, if you're feeding off another movie.
And ultimately, I think what we had said before, this is not a need to see movie to understand the Marvel universe.
Right.
Hello, welcome in, Super Fluffy Yeti.
Hello.
Like this could be like if you were prepping someone to watch a Marvel movie, or like when they were prepping everybody to get to Endgame and Infinity War, you could say you don't need to see this, other than the post-traumatic stress disorder, and you don't see extremists come back. Right. You know, if we've all watched the movie, we all know that Pepper gets the extremists powers, but then Tony works it out, you know, takes it out, pretty much, you know, works to fix it and take whatever that's out. Nothing in this movie has any further tie-in, because even though they tried to correct the Mandarin in a short after one of the other movies, I don't see the Mandarin being a huge part of any other further movies without Iron Man.
Right.
I don't see the 10 rings coming back for anything other than Iron Man, because the Mandarin with his 10 rings, if you go back to the first one, we talked about the 10 rings, the terrorist organization that was using that bombed, that took Tony hostage, was considered the 10 rings. Again, could they bring Hammer in for any future movies? Absolutely, they can bring Hammer in, because with Tony not making weapons, they need another big name for weapons manufacturing, and that's Hammer. So you can utilize Hammer in the further movies. Whiplash, done. He's never coming back. All right, Kenz, go ahead.
So Super Fluffy Yeti asked what the box office take was. It must have been done well enough to keep the MCU going. It made 1.2 billion, which is less than Avengers made, but it's the most out of all of the Iron Man movies.
Right.
So I feel like, if anything, they were able to keep going because of Avengers.
I think they were riding that Avengers high, and
well, let me see how much Dark World made.
It still makes money because it's Iron Man.
Dark World made 644 million, so it's a lot less than Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah.
But
I'll wait till the end to ask what Dark World is.
Or
the next Thor movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but like Russ says, that once you get past Thor: Dark World, the MCU gets better.
Yeah.
You know, when Marvel Studios by themselves said they had Iron Man and Iron Man 2, and Thor, and then they worked into Avengers, it worked. These could have been these next two movies we talk about could have been the make or break. They weren't making money. The only thing I think brought and saved a lot of it was The Winter Soldier. That was a good sequel.
That was a good movie.
Unfortunately, these two were made. These two are what we have. I don't see the villains in this one ever coming back. They weren't brought back for anything in the Avengers saga. They weren't brought back in any other saga.
Well, when they first did their first Iron Man, Marvel Studios wanted the Mandarin to be the main bad guy, and that's why the Ten Rings became such a big deal. Well, then once Disney took over, that's where Joss Whedon brought in Thanos and started that ball rolling. And I think they switched gears, so they're trying to get rid of the Mandarin, and that's another reason why like he's not really the Mandarin in this movie. That they change him up so much. They say that the reason they changed him was because of Chinese stereotypes, because the Mandarin is a Chinese character with the Fu Manchu and all that, so they don't want that stereotypical Chinese bad guy. They're also trying to get into the Chinese market to sell their movies. But they too, they're changing the entire character. I think, and in thinking about it, it's probably to just get rid of him, because they didn't want him to make him the powerful Mandarin that he is.
And and if they would have done a true Mandarin, and you would have had problems with the Chinese stereotype that was there.
Yeah.
Right.
If you would have made the Mandarin and made him a white or a different race, then you would have pretty much aggravated all the true Disney or the true comic fans, because they're looking for a certain
which is why I don't like.
I mean, would you hate it less if they just gave him a different name?
Yes, and actually, I was going to talk a little bit about it, because in the comics, his name is the bad guy's name is Malin in the comics. So Malin is not even Killian. Killian is actually the scientist who created the formula with Maya, the girl, and then he sells it to a terrorist organization, and in this case, it's the Ten Rings. And then he gets so guilty about it that he kills himself, and so he's not even around. So Malin he gets injected with the serum and with Extremis, and then that's when he becomes the powerful villain and fights Iron Man. So that's kind of where he comes from.
So the question though, isn't this the first we've met this
Killian?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the first we've met Mandarin.
There was a backstory in the beginning of the movie.
Okay, but so this is the first we've seen this Mandarin. That haven't been in any other movies.
No, and the character that Ben Kingsley plays is what the Mandarin is supposed to be like. He's he's the terrorist. They tried to make him kind of like an Osama bin Laden, or the terrorist group, leader. And that's kind of what he is in the comics, but a little bit more powerful.
Okay.
And then you also introduce the organization of AIM. And because in the Marvel comics, AIM is a huge part of the villains and things, because that's kind of the villainous organization, kind of like Spectre in the Bond films, where there's this evil council, that's sending out bad guys.
Right.
That's kind of what AIM is. And so they're a group of scientists, and they're actually a part of Hydra and the technological side of Hydra.
Okay.
So that's kind of where they're coming from.
Okay. It's like this guy, he came and went in this movie.
Yes.
Thanos, this person you talk about, that's a villain, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever Thanos is.
Yeah.
He's more of a cosmic bad guy.
But he goes on for several movies, right? He's not just in one movie and gone.
No.
Like this guy was just in and out.
Right.
He didn't make a big impact.
Most villains are in and out.
He comes back in another movie.
Okay.
Who?
The kid.
Yeah, but he comes back in for a guest spot.
Well,
he doesn't really play a part though.
No, I'm just we'll see him again at some point.
And here's the thing: a lot of people were saying that the kid could have been the next Iron Man. I mean, he's intelligent. He's an inventor.
Yeah.
They're talking about who could fill the Iron Man shoes. There's a couple different theories out there, whether or not that they're going to bring in another Iron Man because in the comics mantles get passed down. So
I have a feeling as to what they're going to do, but we'll get into that when we get.
That's cool.
When we get to Endgame.
So let's talk about favorites. If there is, what would your favorite part of this movie be? And who wants to go first? Ken's, Dizzard Dream, or Russ? Favorite part of this movie, if you can find one.
My favorite part was when they started rolling the credits. No, I thought the plane fight was done really well when he was getting all 11 people that got sucked out of the airplane. I thought, and then he got crushed by the truck. His drone.
Yes.
I thought that was done really well.
And that was that nice surprise that Tony wasn't actually there. And we do see that, and again in the future, he does that that remote in one of the other movies that we'll be talking about coming up.
And there were some good one-liners, and I like the banter between the kid and Iron Man. But other than that, like when he was prisoner and now 5, 4.
Yeah, that is a really funny thing.
You're in trouble now.
You're gonna do me a favor and go tie yourselves up. Like that part is really funny. I really enjoy it.
There are a couple good spots, but man, it's still down at the bottom.
Yeah,
go ahead, Kenzie.
Yeah, the scene where he was tied up when he's doing the thing. I really enjoy that scene. I as much as I do like the kid and I do like that entire, that storyline, it just doesn't interest me. Like him being in the totally different state and doing all that stuff. It seems really slow. That's a very different.
Carlos, I used to be just like you. I had no idea. I still have no idea. You heard?
You still have no idea?
I think Carlos was watching movies with Ange.
I don't know.
He called Thanos. It just drives me up a wall.
What is it? Thanos? I don't know who it is.
Thanos.
Okay. I have no idea. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the banter between the kid, but the kid bugs the crap out of me. And I mean, it's just the funny parts that I enjoy the most. And that's why, movies like Thor Ragnarok are my favorites, because they're really funny.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you my favorite part?
Go for it.
So I like the part when he met that guy in the van who was like a big fan.
Gary?
Yeah, that was kind of
funny.
Like he had a tattoo on his arm and he's trying to go for the look. I thought that was funny. He was starstruck.
Gary's funny.
That was funny. Yeah.
I wish Gary had been in it a little more.
He actually was on a show that we used to watch.
Really?
Me and Billy used to watch. It was I can't remember the name of the show. It had it was actually pretty funny. It was something about like a couple broke up and they had a bunch of friends, and it was an interesting show. It didn't last past 2 or 3 seasons, but I remember him being the one of the friends on that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my favorite part, or have you done yours yet, Tracy?
No, go ahead, Russ.
Okay.
It's all on you.
My favorite part is probably when the house gets destroyed with all the helicopters, and Pepper gets the rescue suit. That's the first time she gets a suit, because that plays in a little bit later. And then I kind of like the Gary parts. I like that stuff, but also like when he right after when the house gets destroyed and he wakes up in Tennessee and Jarvis is like, it's kind of the first time you see Jarvis be emotional. I mean, he's always got that banter. He's always back and forth with Tony because that's the way he was made. But this was kind of the first time that Jarvis seems a little bit more human, a little bit more self-aware, and that also plays in the next, when they go to Avengers. So I like that because Jarvis is also has always been one of my favorite characters. So of all of the characters, especially in the Iron Man movies, obviously. But yeah, I just love the way that plays out. So because Jarvis plays a huge part in this movie too, because he's the one controlling all the suits. You know,
Right.
Have a nice, Stacy.
Bye, Stacey.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, I don't know where I was going with that. Dad, what's your favorite part? Sorry, I got a text and it threw me off.
My favorite part is like Russ said. I think the time that the house blows up and Pepper puts on a suit. I think that's pretty good. And like Jeff said, the end of the movie. You know, the credits are rolling. It's probably the best. All right, Stacy from Disney Nerd Orders. Have a good day. And I noticed in the chat that Carlos is watching a lot of different movies, along with other people that I think they've watched The Ten Commandments and Titanic.
We should have made Carlos watch these movies too. That way I wouldn't feel so dumb.
Like Tony went takes the dummy with him. Oh yes. At the end of the movie, he takes the dummy. So
that was kind of sad when Dummy goes over the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, the Twister. I think these guys. So unfortunately, with this, we have our favorite part. What do you think is the worst part of this movie? If you can pick just one worst part.
The ending. When he blows up the suits, I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to build them all again. I understand the symbolism of it.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting rid of his distractions, the things that have been holding him back from his relationship. But, dude, you're a freaking superhero. You kind of need those.
Well, he doesn't really get rid of them, so.
Nope.
But again, I think last night we were talking about why it was going on. It's like I just think they just needed fireworks for the ending.
Yeah.
I think
that's why they were blowing up the suits. There's
Welcome
no real
in, Todd B.
it, so.
Welcome in, Todd B. Sorry to interrupt you.
I thought.
So, what do you think?
Hey, nerds and Angela. Yeah, I'm not.
When he was having night terrors and Pepper tried waking him up, and then he looks over and there's a Iron Man suit right above Pepper. I thought that was kind of
what was that all about? I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the whole idea behind that is Tony's suffering PTSD from the Battle of New York, and he's psychically connected with the Iron Man suit. So
he accidentally called it in his sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I don't. Yeah.
So Ken's was the blowing everything up. Russ, what was your worst?
Anything to do with the Mandarin.
You're really touchy about that subject.
Well, I know, because it just makes me mad the way they did it. Yeah. Because, I mean, I wish that they actually had made Ben Kingsley the big mean Mandarin. I mean, because that's, he plays him perfectly.
He does.
And now when he becomes Trevor, it's hilarious.
It's absolutely funny.
But it's like, that's when the movie just.
Welcome in, Tim Pruitt.
Hi.
So
funny. Trevor. What did you tell him, Trevor? I didn't tell him anything.
So did you tell us your worst parts?
You did, or did I? I did.
Just about the whole movie.
Yeah. I thought the part when they showed like back in time when he was wanting to speak to him on the roof or whatever, like when Killian was wanting to meet with him, it was like the 70s or something. I'm like, what is that? And it was 1999. Jeff, you told me it was 99. I'm like, wow, they looked like they were from the 70s.
Well, he was supposed to be that nerdy looking guy.
He was
You know,
supposed to be the unattractive nerd.
yeah, and two, the extremist stuff is what kind of makes him into the guy that he is.
Right.
You know, that's what he it heals him of his issues and all of that. You know,
Yeah.
so that's also what makes him mean. Or so.
Yeah, what was up with him? Like, I don't know. They were portraying it like to be. I guess you were supposed to realize it was further back in time, but
Yeah.
I was like, wow, is that from the 70s? Like, it seemed really far back in time. I don't know. Anyway.
You do get it. You do get the spot with the guy. Rush, you remember his name from the cave. He actually meets him at that party.
Jensen. Yeah.
Yep. Jensen.
So I would have to say my worst part of this movie.
Hitting
it's tough to choose. I think my worst part is how they dealt with Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like much going on with Iron Patriot.
Tony Stark makes these suits. Tony Stark invented the suits. He has all these suits. How does Killian and his team know how to repair the Iron Patriot after they burn out Rhodey? Right?
Yeah.
They heat him up. How do they also know how to program that Iron Patriot to bring the president to Killian at that oil refinery? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plot
I think,
holes.
huh?
Plot holes. Yeah.
I know it's a plot hole, but I think that was handled bad. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a plot hole. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And blowing up the suits was stupid because
you're agreeing with me.
Well, and the other thing, going along with that, I don't like how easy the suits are destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, it's like you touch them and they just fall apart, and it's I mean, I get that there's nobody in them, but every other Iron Man movie so far, they take a whole lot more of a beating,
Right.
And it's funny that the one that actually can blow apart is the strongest one in the movie.
Right. Because I mean, just on a cost standpoint, listen, Tony Stark might be a millionaire, but that's a lot of money that he blew up, considering that what's he used to construct those? I mean, they're bulletproof, they're whatever, all the technology.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And the I'm going to take out all the shrapnel, and I'm no longer going to be Iron Man, but yet we get Avengers 2, Civil War, all the way up to Endgame. They could have just left the thing in his chest and would have been whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with the movie. But there's a couple of good things. I think the hilarious of Trevor, even though it wasn't the right thing to do and the right character to use, and the foreshadowing of Pepper being in his suit. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, was that foreshadowing?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, Pepper can be pretty badass. So.
All right, let's see.
Out of 10, how many stars are you giving it? 2?
Yeah, I would say 2.
I'd say 4.
Well, it didn't have as much action as the other ones, so Angela, who doesn't like as much action and battle, this would be a higher rating for her.
Exactly.
I would give it a 3 because it was definitely better than Artemis Fowl.
And what did you give Artemis Fowl?
I started off with a 3.5, but Russ talked me down to a 2.
I think I give this movie out of 10 because I'm used to thinking in a 5-star system because of the way I do my journals. But I mean, if I was to do it out of a 5, it would be a 2.
Really?
If it was out of a 10, I don't know what that translates to.
4.
I guess, yeah, 4.
4 or 5, yeah. Like I
I'm
say,
sorry.
I don't think that it's a terrible movie, just compared to all of the other ones. I just don't like it. You know, that's my thing. So
There always needs to be a least favorite out of something.
It's still better than the DC movies.
oh
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
But
I love how we all just collectively agree that DC is just.
Well, hold on. If we're going to talk about DC movies or comparative, I would say this is better than all of the DC movies, but Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was a good movie.
This is the Batman Forever of the DC movies.
I'm comparing.
You don't like those Batman movies?
No.
These are good.
Batman Forever was bad, but Batman and Robin was worse.
Well, Batman and Robin was worse. Yes.
That was weird.
That's the reason I don't watch DC movies.
I'm comparing this to the other compared to the other
Correct.
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Way down at the bottom.
Super Fluffy Betty missed the Artemis Fowl stream yesterday.
On Russ's channel yesterday.
You
Go
go back
check that
and watch
out. We destroy it.
Watch it on replay.
We tore it apart pretty good, but I mean, it was not.
Two
We didn't
shreds.
tear it apart, but we had a lot of issues with it. So.
I mean, it's not. Listen, obviously, people put money into. I mean, Disney has some bombs out there. Could we talk about Mars Needs Moms? That was one of the worst Disney movies they ever put out. You know,
What was it?
Mars Needs Moms.
Oh my! I've never heard of that.
And there's a reason why you haven't.
Because it's not good. So, do you think that concludes our Iron Man 3?
Yeah, there's really not much left to talk. I mean, we could drag this through the mud 5 more times, but it's not going to get any better.
Hi, Rockin' Robin.
Hey, Rockin' Robin.
Hi, Rockin' Robin. But next week we have
Thor: The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World.
On my channel?
On your channel.
My channel. We talked about it.
Jeff's
We
already
really had
shaking
this
his head.
conversation.
Oh boy!
I'm not excited, but
Yeah.
let's
He's
see how
already
it
shaking
goes.
his head.
The only I give it a little bit of leeway because I know Loki's gonna be there.
I mean,
Introducing the Dark Elves.
yeah. We'll talk about it.
Yep. So, Dad, what do you have coming up?
Well, this week I'm definitely going to do Thursday. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. I really want to do. There's a Sherlock stream that I want to do that I would have to get together with a couple people because who loves Sherlock?
No idea what that is.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, but I've never watched.
Are you talking about the Robert Downey Jr.
Or
No.
either that or Firefly? I really like to talk about Firefly, and I'd have to. I think I found Firefly. I think you can stream Firefly on Hulu, and
I don't know what either of those are. Then,
well, Firefly is actually it's a Western type space movie.
Yeah, it's a space western.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I like the Robert Downey Jr.
I've got it all on DVD. So.
We're talking about Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock.
Yeah.
I really love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I don't know who that is.
The actor?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Doctor
Cumberbatch.
Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, is he?
Him.
Is he, Dr. Doolittle?
Hi, Danny.
Dr.
Strange?
No.
No, that was Robert Downey Jr.
was too little.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah.
You were
No, the guy that plays Doctor Strange is
Dr.
is so.
Doolittle. No, why am I saying Dr. Doolittle?
Doctor Strange with the cape and the.
Yes.
That is Benedict Cumberbatch.
And he was also
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
In Sherlock,
Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch have both been Sherlock.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the Benedict Cumberbatch.
It was on BBC.
Yeah, it's
BBC America. And
I might be
BBC.
having a stroke. Is my eye drooping?
Let's not joke about that. That scares me.
I can't think.
Hi, Danny.
How can I say? Who are we talking about?
He's having a stroke.
Okay, we'll talk about it later, Jeff.
We started talking about Dark World, and then he flipped
Yeah.
Dark World put me over the edge.
out.
What else do you have coming up, Devin?
What are we talking about?
Doctor Strange and Bilbo Baggins go on some wacky adventures.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
So that's what I got coming up. What are those two? Kenzie, what do you got coming up?
I've got my 4:30 to 5:30 tomorrow. I still don't know what I'm doing. And then we're doing Crop and Chop on Myers and the Mouse in the morning. And then I'm posting, I just finished editing. I'm going to be posting another Movie Journal video on Wednesday. Even though I desperately want to post it now because I'm impatient, but I have to wait till Wednesday. And that's about it. What about you, Russ?
I think I'm going to film. I'm going to go back into the kitchen again this week, and I'm going to make a cake, and so have that recipe up here probably this coming Saturday, and then also this coming Saturday on my channel, we're going to be talking about Disney dads, and actually, Kenzie knows this, but I think Tracy, you're supposed to be there too. I
He'll be there.
With Abby.
Well,
If you
it
can-
depends.
If you can make it.
Yeah,
My-
we'll be here Saturday.
Oh my goodness, I got so much work to do around
Oh,
the
I
house.
get it. And then I also asked Jeff and Abby to come, and as well as Danny and his boys.
Cool.
So we're going to be talking about Disney dads because it's Father's Day weekend.
Is it really next weekend?
It is.
It is. So we'll have some of that, and then like I say, yeah, Thor: Dark World next Sunday. So
Yes.
Yep.
So is our dream. What do you got coming up?
So
I'm working on getting back to Florida.
Monday.
She's not so much.
Yes, we are. So no, we could head down maybe next Sunday on Father's Day. So, but anyway, Monday.
That's what a way to spend Father's Day in a car.
How are we going to do the stream if we're traveling Sunday?
We're going to
In
do it on the
car?
phone. We're not hosting it, so we could just jump right on StreamYards right from the phone, right? Or from the car, right?
So you would have to watch this Thor: Dark World this week sometime.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't everybody? Everybody's going to watch it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we could maybe, yeah.
we can figure that out.
So tomorrow I'm putting out a video where I make a avocado margarita from Epcot. And then Dreaming with the Mouse on Thursday.
Is that on our channel?
Yes.
No,
No,
that's not on our
it's
channel.
not on our channel. It's on Myers' channel. Yep.
Dreaming with the Mouse.
Dreaming with the Mouse. And then we might have food talk Friday night, right, Kenzie? We'll see.
Yep.
Okay. Food talk. Ooh, ouch. That was attached to my head. That's it.
Again, well, thank you guys for all showing up.
Were
And
you going to say welcome and start over?
oh yeah, no. Thank you guys for all showing up in the chat. Thank you guys, and thank you to my co-host for Nerd Chat. Again, next week at 4:00, we'll be doing Nerd Talk again. We'll be covering Thor: The Dark World. Again, I would love to thank Dean from the Live Place from posting our show, the Nerd Talk, on the Live Place. At any chance, if you want to find a family-friendly stream, please check out the Live Place. And I know he is streaming tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So is Pearl Manhattan. I know she's, I think, been ninja watching. So Pearl's going to be doing a live concert at 7 o'clock. If you want to go check out Pearl Manhattan, Mike, if you want to drop that out, and you want to drop out,
Hey, Mike.
drop the Live Place. I know he does a
Mike's
8
head
o'clock
now.
stream.
Yeah, he has to run. So.
Okay, so thank you guys for all showing up. Hopefully, you guys catch us next week and throughout the week. Thank you, and have a great Sunday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dancing out.
Listen now.